All right, strap right in. We are back on the right path, ladies and gentlemen. RightPath Wealth Management presents the Right Path to Retirement here, the podcast you can find on Apple, Spotify, some of the other podcatchers. I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull, here with the president, founder, and, of course, financial advisor at RightPath Wealth Management, and that is Jimmy Lynn. You can get in touch with Jimmy and the team at rightpathwm.com or dial them up there in the Vegas area, 702-805-7000. Jimmy, how you doing today? You got a T-shirt on, so I think things are starting to warm up there in Nevada.
Yeah, it's unpredictable here in Vegas, as you know. So I'm wearing my T-shirt right now. Going to be going outside, maybe in some shorts. But yeah, you're just starting off the day, and got a busy day ahead of me.
Yeah, you sure do. I know you meet with people all over the country, a lot of virtual meetings and such, and also got 2 offices, and it looks like you're working on getting some things together for YouTube there. So you're talking to us, at least in the infancy, if you will, of your YouTube studio, right?
We are. So if there's a little bit of echoing, I apologize to everyone. But yeah, we're setting up our YouTube studio to really start creating more content, educational content specifically. You know, Doug, we've been doing this long enough where you know that I emphasize being able to educate any of the listeners, whether they work with us or not. You know, I want to make sure that seniors go into retirement with the knowledge of things that they have to be aware of, because I've seen time and time again, we meet with people and they're just shocked about some Social Security rule or some Medicare rule. And so we're just wanting to kind of give that giving mentality, give as much to the world as far as information, and with no expectations of any return. We just want to help people out there.
Yeah, helping people. That's what it's all about here. And you could get started on that right path if you go rightpathwm.com. And that YouTube channel, granted, still getting it launched, okay? But that YouTube channel is youtube.com/at rightpath to retirement. All right. So you got to make sure that at's in there. youtube.com/
the at sign.
The at symbol. Thank you for that. Thank you. The at Bersand. No, the at symbol / the at symbol, Right Path to Retirement. We have a link to that in the description of this show. So if you need that, and again, that content will be forthcoming. All right. On today's show, well, I need to mention the past couple episodes, we talked about economic threats, potential economic threats, and then just the both the costs and the planning and the importance of being active in retirement. Yes, I mercilessly related that to NASCAR, okay? And NASCAR season's just kicked off, so be sure to check out those 2 episodes that are out on Apple, Spotify, the other podcatchers. Today, we're going to talk about what to bring on your first trip to an advisor appointment. And maybe you're getting a second opinion, or maybe you've chosen someone and you're like really, really going there the first time and digging in. Jimmy, we know it's important to have that second opinion, but to get the right opinion either way, you got to bring the right stuff. So walk us through that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Our first meetings in our office, very, very casual, very non-intimidating. I just want people to come in with a comfort level. They're not having to make any life-altering decisions with us. Really, it's just an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that you can get some complimentary advice. I mean, who wouldn't go to a physician, to get their whole body checked out and make sure that they get good advice from a physician, especially when it's free, right? Yeah. No cost to them. And that's really what we're offering to our clients. But as with a physician, when you come into a financial advisor or a financial planner like myself, the more information we have, the better. It's just easier to give accurate advice. Now, we don't require it. A lot of times, Doug, people will come into our office because they attended one of our seminars where we've given them some information about taxes or Social Security, or they've listened to this podcast and they've called in because they want to get some more information. So those are kind of the ways people get introduced to our firm. And so, granted, you haven't met us before, or it's just been a very brief interaction. They may have their guards up a little bit. We don't require people bring any specific documents. We make recommendations, but really, when you come in, it's really an opportunity to just get to know us, and for us to get to know your situation. And we will, as open as you want to be, as someone that's entering into retirement, we'll talk as deeply as you want to go. Now, the recommendations of things there are definitely things that we want to bring in. Again, we bring it back to a physician, right? Physician, they like to check your blood pressure, maybe even check your blood. They may want to, check your weight, check your pulse. There's things that kind of the vital signs that tell us, how you are doing now, and, kind of predictors or indicators of how you're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah.
So those are the things, mainly, we tell people anything that has a number associated with it in your life, we'd love to take a look at that. And you don't have to just put everything on our table for us to start filtering through. We work at your comfort level. But things like, past couple of years of tax returns are really, really helpful.
Yeah.
If you're currently still working, your pay stubs, so we can kind of see your taxation there. A really, really, really important one would be any type of investment accounts you have, your current 401k or TSP, any outside brokerage accounts you might have. If you have an HSA, if you have an annuity, a life insurance policy, any of these things that have numbers associated with them, especially if there's something that you're going to be relying on in retirement, bring them in. We have people bringing in shoe boxes of just documents. Let us filter through them. And the reason being is because we have a lot of tools as advisors that, individuals typically don't have. We can do in-depth portfolio analysis to kind of let you know, hey, did you know that in this investment account, you're actually paying a ton of fees that you don't know about because of the funds that your advisor or the 401k company may have you invested in? That's something you need to know as you go into retirement, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the type of performance that you should be getting out of your investments based on the level of risk that either you're currently in or that you're comfortable in? That's probably something, Doug, that you may want to know as you're going into retirement. So those are kind of the things that we really like to hone in on, because the more information that you have, just the more confidence that you're going to have going into retirement. That's what we want to give people back, is their confidence. Because I'll tell you, we do every week, we probably do dozens of these meetings, and you'll see people, who in their careers, I've said this in the past, in their careers, they succeeded at the very highest levels. They may be business owners, executives, physicians, whatever the case may be. They're just very successful in their careers, but they're lost at no fault of their own entering into retirement because there's so many moving parts. Yeah. And so we want to give people back that confidence, empower them to make decisions. And this is kind of the starting point.
Education, empowerment, confidence was such an intimidating topic, like tackling your money or trying to figure out how to make it grow, or even taxes. Now, you mentioned, I just want to rewind, a couple of years tax returns. Is it the rule of thumb that you're supposed to hold on to 5 anyway? So it's not you asking too much to have the last 2 or 3. Is that what you mean when you say bringing a couple in, a 2 or 3, or do you want to go back as far as 5 years?
No, yeah. So for IRS purposes, I think they can audit you up to like the past 7 years. So you really definitely want to keep those records. We don't need to see that.
In fact, tax guy. Okay.
Right. If you bring 7 years of tax returns, well, I'll probably turn you away. We don't want to get that in depth. What we wanted to see is probably the last couple of years, just to see that, we can identify a pattern. Like we don't want to see you bring in your last year's tax returns and then there was an anomaly. You just happen to make a significant amount because you sold something, and that's not the norm. We like to see a couple of years of tax returns because it gives us a pattern of what to expect. Now, as you're going into retirement, it could be different, but at least it's a starting point for tax planning purposes, because we always look at taxes as really the most controllable piece that we have as financial planners, right? Because tax planning, unlike a lot of other decisions, tax planning, individuals actually have control of how much they may want to pay during certain periods of time. And they can kind of look at the tax system as it is today and then strategize, when they want to pull money to kind of be most efficient. And there's not a lot of areas in financial planning that you can have that much effect on. So that's the reason we asked for that. But I do want to say, Doug, I don't want this process, and we always emphasize, we don't want this process to be intimidating at all. Not everybody has their items organized to a point where it's easy for them to access the information. If they don't have their tax returns, even from last year, still come in. Don't let that be a barrier. If you don't have all of your retirement statements, still come in, still get to know us, still kind of ask your questions. We'd love to tell you about, the reasons why it would be beneficial for us to see some of these things. And if we have to schedule a second meeting just to kind of help you through that process, we're willing to do that. So I always emphasize, it's great to bring as much as you can because it gives us more information, but don't let that be a barrier to coming in to meet with us.
Basically, even if someone's a hot mess, you still want to see them, right? To see if you can help them through, because you're helping empower them, educate them, give them confidence.
Absolutely. I mean, that they may be the ones that we need to help more. So definitely don't let that be any type of barrier to not coming in and seeking out help.
No, that's really important to say, because again, it's like when you have a room that's just a disaster and it's like, okay, I really need to get the papers in here organized and the stuff picked up off the floor. You don't know where to begin. Well, help Jimmy Lynn show you where to begin. All right. So,
yeah.
All right.
And sometimes, Doug, that's actually what right? You got a room in the house that is just a hot mess. Sometimes that's the room you just never go into, right? And you because out of sight, out of mind, right? And you can't treat your finances, you can't treat your retirement like that, because that can only get worse. I mean, if you have a room that has been unattended for, it's probably as bad as it could be. It's not going to get any worse. But with your finances, if you have some issues that you're not addressing, that actually can be a snowball effect. So you want to kind of get ahead of those things. So the two are not the same, right? And your financial house is much more critical. And so as painful as it could be to have to, figure out what your passwords are to these different accounts so that you can download those statements or print out those statements, it is going to be worth your while. And it's something that you have to do. It is not an option to never do it. You may be able to delay it, but again, the ramifications of that could be significant. So the sooner you tackle that, the sooner you're going to be better off. And again, more confident.
Don't delay. It's every day is the start of a new year to get those resolutions in. All right. Doesn't matter that we're recording this in February. Okay. Every day is the start of a new year. Get those things going. So if somebody's hearing this and they want to schedule this complimentary first call with you, and maybe it's a second opinion, or maybe they just have no idea what they want to do, Jimmy, how do they get in touch with you? What's that process like?
Yeah, very, very, very simple. Just call us up, 702-805-7000, and just ask for that complimentary consultation. You'll get scheduled in with one of our assistants, and we can meet at the Summerlin office. We can meet at the Henderson office. If it's hard for you to get in, we can do it virtually. We're set up for that, but typically speaking, most people in the Las Vegas area, they love to come in and meet with us, have a drink with us, not alcoholic drink, right? But they like to have a Perrier or some water, but just sit down, again, non-threatening, very casual, but really just get to know us. They like to take a look at the artwork that we have, because Doug, we've talked about them in the past with the Opportunity Village and all the artwork that we have in our office. So it's just a nice experience for them to get to know us and really talk about them. So I definitely encourage them. Call us 702-805-7000. Get on our calendar. They can also go to our website, RightPathWM.com, and you can contact us that way. But quickest way to get on our calendar, just give us a call, and we will get you on there. And that's the first step you got to take.
The old-fashioned telephone, all right, to get, and by the way, we don't have to worry about long distance fees and stuff anymore, all right? You can call from anywhere, 702-805-7000, and of course, go to RightPath WM, RightPath Wealth Management, RightPathWM.com. I'll say it one more time, as I said it a lot there, RightPathWM.com, and get that conversation started. Well, Jimmy, thank you so much for helping people feel more confident, taking the intimidation level down, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you're able to educate us more with in the future, and what you start putting up on that YouTube channel too. I'll be tuned in for that.
It's coming, Doug, and everyone that visits that site, make sure to subscribe, and you can kind of be on that journey with us of growth.
There you go. Subscribe. There's also a Facebook page too. Be sure to check that out. And we're so thankful you all tuned in. He is Jimmy Lynn, president, founder, and financial advisor at RightPath Wealth Management. We also want to thank our producer, Daniel Salerson, for getting this thing published. I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull, and we'll have another episode of Right Path to Retirement coming your way sooner than you think.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business RightPath Wealth Management. RightPath Wealth Management is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by RightPath Wealth Management are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities policies of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. RightPath Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained by sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by RightPath Wealth Management.